A school campus was devastated by a tornado, but the resilience and recovery, a new building is ready for students.
Today, the Rogers School District is marking the completion of repairs at Lingle Middle School. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi joins us live with the latest. Good morning, Jacob.
Yeah, good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Joe. Back in May 2024, when the storms had hit the Lingle campus right here, there were parts of the building where you could look up and see the sky. The roof was gone. There was, windows were warped. There were, just the siding off of this building. A lot of damage was sustained on this campus. And although students returned back this school year, there was still some work that needed to be done, but today the district celebrating all of the work, all of those repairs finally being accomplished.
It was in disarray. It was a mess.
That's the picture Principal Eric Sokol paints of Lingle Middle School after it was struck hard by the Memorial Day weekend tornadoes in 2024.
We didn't have power, and there was, ceiling tiles were falling down, and insulation, and there was water, and things throughout the building.
Students and staff spent the 2024-2025 school year in mobile units while crews rebuilt parts of the school from the ground up. Superintendent Dr. Jeff Perry says work included new HVAC, roof, windows, and completely renovated classrooms.
We had the necessary systems in place. We had the necessary resources in place that we were able to address these issues fairly quickly. While we were doing this, we still had to do all the normal things that you would do in any other year.
In August, excited students, parents, and staff returned to campus. Work remained on the new storm shelter, gym, flooring, dedicated band and orchestra rooms, and other final touches. But they were home.
Just to see the buses roll up in the front, the parents drop the kids off in the back, and to know that we were back home.
With construction finally complete, Lingle Middle School can turn the page and look to the future. And whether in mobile units or the school's walls, leaders say it's the people who make it special.
I get to be the principal, but I don't deserve the credit. The credit goes to the teachers and to the students and the parents that just make sure that when kids come to school, they're going to give their best and do their best, and that's what we're here to support.
Now, Tiffany and Joe, when I was here speaking with the principal as well as with Dr. Jeff Perry, I was also spoke to a woman. You saw her in the package there, where she helps prepare the lunches here, and she says that back when they were in those mobile units, they actually had to share a kitchen with a different school. They would have to, really time their meals right, because they had lunches at a different time than that school had lunches. They said they then had to push all those lunches from a cart into another mobile unit that was a makeshift cafeteria. So again, when we talk about everybody buying in to make sure that students can come back to this classroom, to come back to a place where they want to learn and where they feel like home, again, it took everybody to buy in and to do that. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Jacob. 6:35 today, new information in the Amber Waterman capital murder trial. A new filing says both sides of the case were recently informed that the wrong judge had been presiding over that trial since 2022.
According to the filing, Judge Robin Green told the parties the case was originally assigned to Judge Brad Karen. Green said that someone in the circuit clerk's office had taken it upon themselves to reassign the case. Green said she could only speculate a motive.
Now, Waterman's attorneys now say they want the case back in Judge Karen's court. Waterman, you remember, is accused of the kidnapping and murder of Ashley Bush and her unborn baby. If convicted, she could face the death penalty.
Well, the Fort Smith Board of Directors discussed taking over operations of Parrot Island Water Park. The city has purchased $4.2 million worth of slides, and now they're not sure if they can afford to install them. The board moved the issue to next Tuesday night's regular meeting, where a decision will be made.
Have to think about what do we get sales tax from. It's not from admissions, so it's a little bit off of concessions, and generally that's it. We also have to think about the deferred maintenance that could run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars that could be coming
over, so we can improve our revenues, enhance revenues, and ultimately have the park be 100% self-sustainable and take increased revenues.
Well, we will keep an eye on that next meeting and bring you an update on what happens next. Well, next year, you'll see the state of Arkansas investing millions into early childhood education.
5 News reporter Emily Moss has more after looking into several grant approvals in the state. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. I spoke to the Department of Education Secretary Jacob Oliva, who told me that these funds are primarily to help prepare kids for school after statewide test results showed 2/3 of the state's third graders were not reading at grade level. In total, we're looking at nearly $40 million in grants to go towards education funding from birth to 5th grade, specifically nearly $25 million just for literacy improvement alone for early childhood learners like kindergarten through 3rd grade. This comes after a new study last year found 2/3 of the state's 3rd graders were not scoring at their grade level for reading. Secretary Oliva says that kids are falling behind, and if it continues, it will have drastic effects on their later education and careers. So this money is to hopefully prevent that from happening.
When we hone in on 3rd grade reading scores, and we can roughly say that about 2/3 of our students are not reading at or above grade level, we need to flip that. If you can't read, it's hard to succeed. And if you're not able to read by 3rd grade, school doesn't become fun. And when you're not having fun in middle school and you can't see the connection of why what you're learning is relevant to your life, that's when students become disconnected.
The 2 research grants will go entirely towards literacy development and research, including new tutor programs at rural schools at the state. The state has not revealed its exact plans for the preschool grant yet, but they say they plan to use this money towards access to programs statewide, like Head Start or other school-ran programs. Back to you.
All right, thank you for that, Emily. Well, Arkansas lawmakers approved $2 million from a Walton Family Foundation grant to be used to address the state's ongoing teacher shortage. Also, $32 million was approved for education freedom vouchers. Now, those allow families to use public money for private school or homeschooling expenses. A major concern from lawmakers, though, ensuring that the money is being used as intended.
Once they purchase the item, are we making sure, like, is anybody going out to the home and checking?
We're trusting the parent to educate their child to do what's best for what they feel like is best for their child. So I guess to your question, I guess it would be on the honor system.
Well, Arkansas's Secretary of Education says the program serves more than 44,000 students.
Officials from Greenland and Denmark are expected to meet with Vice President J.D. Vance and other top U.S. officials today at the White House as President Trump intensifies his push to acquire Greenland. But Greenland's prime minister says that he prefers Denmark and the European Union to the U.S. Meanwhile, President Trump told anti-government demonstrators in Iran that help is on the way. In an interview with CBS Evening News, the president ratcheted up warnings to Tehran if the government makes good on threats to hang protesters this week.
If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
On Tuesday, President Trump visited Michigan to celebrate his administration's efforts on the economy. He spoke hours after the latest consumer price index showed inflation in December was the same as it was in November, but grocery prices jumped more than 3%.